Jake's scream ripped through the stadium. It was frantic, raw, full of terror. For a moment, everything stopped. The music cut. The crowd froze. Then, screaming. From the pool's edge, a trainer shouted, "Emergency protocol, pull the net!" But the net didn't move. Another trainer sprinted to the emergency box, hands shaking as she hit the alarm. "Kak's not responding. He's not responding." In the stands, kids cried. Parents stood in shock, covering their mouths. Phones came out, filming horror in real time. Jake surfaced one last time. Blood streaked his face. His mouth barely moved. "Please, help me." Then, Kanak dragged him under. And this time, he didn't come back up. It was February 17th, a warm, sunny day at Ocean World. The stands were packed. Kids laughed. Cameras flashed. Everyone had come to see the magic, man and Orca, side by side. Jake Lawson was the star, the face of the park, a trainer with 15 years of experience, confident, respected, loved. But behind the applause was something much darker, a 12,000-pound killer, and a system built to ignore the sign. In less than 5 minutes, the family show would turn into a nightmare, and Jake Lawson would vanish beneath the water. Forever. You're watching Animal Quests, where real stories reveal the truth behind the spectacle. If this gripped you, like, share, and subscribe, because this is only the beginning. Jake Lawson wasn't just another trainer. He was the trainer. You saw him in every commercial, every brochure, every VIP tour. He lived for the Orcas. At 19, he started as a part-time feeder while studying biology. But it didn't take long for the team to see he was different. The Orcas responded to him, his voice, his presence, even his silence. By 25, he was an elite trainer. By 30, he ran the entire Orca program. His nickname? The Whale Whisperer. He never shouted, never forced a trick, and yet the whales followed him. But that bond came at a price. Jake had done more free swims, unprotected, inside the tank, than any trainer before him. He believed in trust over fear. If you treat them like killers, he said, they'll act like killers. Treat them like partners, and they'll protect you. And for 15 years, they did. Until one didn't. Kanak was no ordinary whale. Born in captivity, raised under bright lights, 12,000 pounds of muscle, intelligence, and instinct. He had never seen the ocean, never hunted, never lived free. From birth, he was trained to perform. Trainers said he was different, calculating, watchful. He didn't rush into commands like the others. He hesitated. Not confused, but deliberate, like he was thinking. Kanak became known as the unpredictable one. In 2017, during a normal swim session, he suddenly broke formation. He dove under a junior trainer and pulled her down by the leg. She surfaced terrified, holding her knee. The park called it playful curiosity. Staff called it something else, a warning. He had other incidents too. Refused to return to holding areas, ignored commands, accepted food only from certain trainers. He never caused serious harm, so the show went on. Some blamed stress, others said he was lonely. But the truth? No one really knew what was going on in Kanak's mind, not even Jake. And on February 17th, that mystery turned deadly. Jake had noticed the change. He asked for more breaks, more rest for Kanak. He wanted to pause the free swims. But the pressure was real. Ticket sales were up. The show was the star attraction, and Jake was its face. He was told everything was under control. Protocols were in place. Kanak was just acting out. So Jake trusted them. He trusted Kanak. And that afternoon, he stepped onto the platform one last time. The show began like any other. The San Diego sky was clear. The water sparkled in the sun. The crowd was ready, laughing, waiting for the splash. No one saw it coming. But in just a few minutes, they'd all be witnesses to something they'd never forget. And Jake Lawson would never come back. The music was loud, the stadium was packed, every seat taken. Backstage, Jake Lawson went through his usual routine, calm, focused, methodical. He reviewed the show plan, checked every cue, suited up, but before the crowd filed in, he took time alone with Kanak. For 30 quiet minutes, they swam together, just man and whale. Observers said everything looked normal. Kanak obeyed every command, nudged Jake playfully at the surface. No signs of danger, no aggression, just routine. But later, trainers would remember the small things they missed. Kanak was pacing, faster than usual. His eyes didn't wander. He stayed locked on Jake. He didn't make a sound during hand signals. And when Jake turned his back, Kanak's dorsal fin twitched. 2:03 p.m., the show began. Jake jogged onto the platform to thunderous cheers. Kanak surfaced beside him, splashing the crowd with a perfect tail swipe, a flawless opening. Then Jake dove in. The audience roared. This was the moment they came for, the trust dive. Trainer and Orca swimming together, a symbol of harmony. Kanak swam past once, and again, slower, closer. Jake gave the cue for a synchronized spin, but Kanak didn't spin. He circled tighter. His fins sliced the water like a blade. Jake smiled, still unaware. To the audience, it all looked like part of the act, but under the surface, something was off. Kanak's breathing was faster. His tail slapped the water, hard. His fins twitched, off rhythm. Then he vanished beneath the surface. Jake treaded water, scanning. The music kept playing. The audience clapped, expecting the next move. But Kanak wasn't preparing to leap. He was preparing to strike. 2:08 p.m. The illusion shattered. Without warning, Kanak shot upward. He slammed into Jake mid-torso, lifting him from the water, then slamming him back down with brutal force. Witnesses say they heard a crack, not through the speakers, but with their own ears. A sickening sound, bone breaking under pressure. The first scream wasn't Jake's. It came from the crowd. Blood surfaced within seconds. Some thought it was part of the show, a trick, a stunt. But then the water changed, clear blue turning red. Kanak didn't let go. He pulled Jake under, deep, 10 seconds, 20, 30. Then, Jake's body surfaced, limp. Kanak grabbed him again, this time by the leg. Trainers were in motion, alarms blared. A staff member shouted, "Emergency protocol! Clear the pool!" A lifeguard grabbed the emergency pole. 2 others rushed to open the gates, trying to separate Kanak into the medical pool, but Kanak wasn't responding. He ignored the buzzers, ignored the tones, ignored the shouting. He wasn't playing. This was an attack. A trainer threw a bait bucket, hoping to distract him. Kanak didn't flinch. He surfaced again just long enough for the crowd to see Jake, though, alive, his arms reaching up. Then, Kanak yanked him under once more. The evacuation had begun. Children sobbed, parents shielded their eyes. Some stood frozen. This wasn't a mistake. It was a total loss of control. The whale was no longer following commands. The show was over. The danger was real. Every second dragged. Every failed attempt chipped away at hope. Jake surfaced one last time, barely. Blood ran from his mouth, one eye swollen shut. Then, the final blow. Kanak launched into what looked like a breach. He leapt halfway out of the water, then crashed down. Jake was beneath him. The water exploded, then went still. No bubbles, no movement. Jake Lawson didn't resurface. The attack lasted 5 minutes. 5 minutes that changed everything. By the time Kanak sank beneath the water with Jake's body, the stadium was chaos. The crowd had been cleared, but backstage was in panic. Emergency nets didn't deploy. Gates didn't close in time. Every system meant to protect Jake failed. The gates jammed. The nets never dropped. Kanak stayed in the main pool, circling slowly with Jake's lifeless body dragging behind. Every few minutes he surfaced, almost like he was showing off, like he was in control now. Jake had been underwater for over 7 minutes. Finally, after repeated signals and failed attempts, Kanak let go. Jake floated to the top, motionless. The dive team rushed in. They pulled him out, laid him on the platform. His wetsuit was shredded. Blood poured from a deep gash along his side. One arm was twisted the wrong way. His lips were blue. CPR began right away. Chest compressions, rescue breaths, again and again. A paramedic on scene later said, "It was the longest 10 minutes of my life. I kept trying to bring breath back into a man who had none left." At 2:41 p.m., Jake Lawson was declared dead. The autopsy said blunt force trauma to the chest and head, multiple rib fractures, internal bleeding, and drowning. But those who knew Jake believed the truth went deeper. A former trainer said anonymously, he didn't stand a chance, and we knew Kanak had it in him. We all did. We just hoped it wouldn't come to this. Jake trusted the system, trusted the whale, trusted the company. That trust cost him his life. News of Jake's death spread before they could even clean the blood from the pool. By evening, headlines read, "Veteran trainer killed by killer whale at Ocean World." Clips flooded social media. Screaming kids, horrified parents, grainy footage of the attack. Talk shows, live streams, news panels. Everyone had a take. Outside Ocean World, a candlelight vigil started within 24 hours. Former guests, fellow trainers, complete strangers. They held photos of Jake. Some cried, others just stood in stunned silence. To them, Jake wasn't just another trainer. He was Ocean World. He made the whales seem gentle, safe, magical. Now that illusion was dead too. Ocean World responded quickly on the surface. They paused all Orca shows out of respect. They issued press releases filled with words like tragic accident and unforeseeable event. They promised change, promised internal investigations. But behind the scenes, a different truth was forming. 2 weeks later, a leaked government report exposed everything. In just 3 years, Ocean World had broken federal safety rules at least 12 times. Broken gate mechanisms, near-miss incidents never reported, undertrained staff, warning signs in animal behavior ignored. Jake's own emails were in the report. He had flagged Kanak's aggression. He had raised concerns. They were ignored. The public was furious. Animal rights protests broke out nationwide. Hashtags calling to end orca captivity went viral. Petitions gained millions of signatures in days. What started as a tragedy became a movement. Jake Lawson's name was no longer just a headline. It became a rallying cry for change, for justice, for every trainer who was ever told to smile through their fear, and every animal trapped in a tank never built for them. Jake died doing what he loved, working with animals, performing for crowds, trusting a whale he'd spent over 10 years calling a partner. But was his death preventable? The reports say yes. The ignored warnings say yes. The silenced voices say yes. What killed Jake wasn't just a 12,000-pound predator. It was negligence, repetition, a broken system, one that prized the show over safety and silence over truth. In a quiet interview after Jake's funeral, his sister said only this: he warned them. They didn't listen. Candles still sit outside Ocean World's gates. The show lights are back on, but something changed that day. A question was born. Are we protecting animals or using them? Are we honoring trainers or exploiting their passion? And how many more lives will it take before we finally choose to listen? If this story moved you, consider subscribing. We share true, untold stories of animal attacks, raw, real, and unforgettable. Like, share, and drop your thoughts in the comments. And as always, stay curious, stay safe. We'll see you in the next one.